C168. Elements. Elements. The elements of reasoning are its components. They are also called the parts of thinking or fundamental structures of thought.
Quick iguanas chase all people into purple igloos.
They do?
Questions, implications, concepts, assumptions, points of view, information, purpose, and inferences.
Questions. All reasoning is directed at some question. In any reasoning context, the critical thinker should ask, what questions need to be answered? Or, what problem needs to be solved? Or, what issue needs to be resolved? As an aspiring critical thinker, you need to learn how to clearly frame the question, problem, or issue at which your reasoning is directed. Implications and consequences. Reasoning delivers us to a position or viewpoint about something. The implications of our reasoning are what extend beyond the position we reach. They form the answer to the question, what follows from our reasoning? Suppose we reason to the conclusion that tobacco should be banned by law because tobacco is a grave public health hazard. One implication of our reasoning might be that a ban should also be considered on the sale of high-fat foods, which are implicated in epidemics of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Concepts. Reasoning takes form in concepts. These are general categories or ideas by which we interpret or classify information used in our thinking. When we think about anything, for example, a new law, we reason based on some concept of that thing. For example, its fairness or unfairness. The concept, not the thing itself, is what we hold in our mind as our understanding of it. Most of us take our concepts for granted. Critical thinking requires us to be aware of the concepts we hold and consider how they drive our reasoning. Assumptions. Reasoning has to begin somewhere. It begins with our assumptions. These encompass everything we take for granted as true in order to figure out something else. For example, suppose you're the new general manager of a pro basketball team that just finished in the last place. As you undertake to improve the team, you might assume that its won-loss record reflects its talent level. You need better players. You must spend more money to upgrade your roster. Assumptions are always present in any form of reasoning. They lie at the heart of arguments, but people usually don't openly express their core assumptions when they reason. Being able to identify assumptions, others, and our own, is essential to critical thinking. Points of view. Reasoning always takes place within some point of view. It has some comprehensive focus of orientation. The same issue considered from different points of view may appear not at all the same. Each of us is at the center of our own point of view. We see from our vantage point. The critical thinker must be able to identify within which point of view reasoning occurs, from what perspective or angle, conservative or liberal, religious or secular, political or cultural, is an issue being looked at or characterized. Information. We use information whenever we reason. Information takes many forms. Statistical data, our observations, others' testimony, etc. In thinking critically about an issue, we must determine what information is relevant to it. We rely on information to direct us to a supportable conclusion. Reasoning often follows from bad or incomplete information. Therefore, the critical thinker must be able to skillfully evaluate information for accuracy and completeness. We need to recognize when we don't have sufficient information to draw a reasonable conclusion. Purpose. Purpose is the goal or objective of reasoning. It describes the desired outcome or intent. Winning an argument, grasping a complex concept, justifying one's behavior. We can identify purpose in anything that entails reasoning. The critical thinker always asks what function reasoning serves and in what direction it is moving. Inferences. In reasoning, we sometimes begin with something we know, or at least which we believe we know, and figure out something else based on it. When we do so, we make inferences. For example, if one drives by a store and sees no cars in the parking lot or lights in the window, one infers that the store is closed. To make inferences is to come to conclusions. We continually make inferences about people, events, and things in our everyday lives.
Quick iguanas chase all people into purple igloos.
igloos. Questions, implications, concepts, assumptions, points of view, information, purpose, and inferences.
Standards. Standards.
Can all small dogs bark really loud for people? What the freak?
Clarity, accuracy, significance, depth, breadth, relevance, logic, fairness, and precision.
Clarity. Our thinking is clear when it is easily understood. We must be clear in our own mind about what we mean. We must express what we mean clearly so others understand us. Clarity of thought enables us to see where our thinking is leading us. We can't determine either the accuracy or relevance of a statement if it's unclear. Accuracy. To be accurate is to represent something as it actually is. We think accurately when our reasoning expresses how things actually are. Common barriers to accurate reasoning. Presuming one's own thoughts are automatically accurate, presuming others' thoughts are inaccurate when they disagree with us, failing to question statements that validate what we already believe. Significance. Our reasoning should concentrate on the most important information relevant to the issue at hand. Our thinking falters when we fail to recognize that not all information which happens to be pertinent to an issue is equally important. Depth. Our reasoning is deep when it plumbs beneath the surface of an issue or problem to identify the underlying complexities and addresses those complexities in an intellectually responsible way. Depth directs us to delve deeper into an issue. Breadth. Our reasoning is broad when it considers the issue at hand from every relevant viewpoint. Breadth directs us to look around us at alternative or opposing perspectives. Failure to duly consider points of view pertinent to an issue is to think narrow-mindedly. Relevance. Something is relevant when it pertains to the problem we seek to solve. Thinking is relevant when it focuses on what is important and what matters in understanding or deciding the issue at hand. Irrelevant thinking dwells on what properly should be set aside or disregarded. Logic. Thinking is logical when thoughts and the order in which they are organized are mutually supportive and make sense in combination. Thinking that is internally contradictory or includes conflicting ideas is not logical. Fairness. Our thinking is fair when it is justified. To be justified is to think fairly in context. Thinking that satisfies all other fundamental intellectual standards satisfies the standard of justifiability. Examples of unfairness in reasoning: refusing to consider relevant information that would lead us to change our view, using concepts unjustifiably to manipulate people, making unjustified assumptions, unsupported by facts, that lead to flawed inferences to an issue is equally important. Precision. Reasoning is precise when it is specific, exact, and sufficiently detailed. Precision is related to clarity, but distinct from it. Something may be clear but not precise. For example, I'm going to go to a party soon. Clear but imprecise. I am going to go to a party at 8 o'clock. Clear and precise. Standards.
Standards. Can all small dogs bark really loud for people? What the freak?
Clarity, accuracy, significance, depth, breadth, relevance, logic, fairness, and precision.